Here's some guidance for the first quiz, and this is building off of the lecture that goes with this. We did some practice from the exercises in the book, so this is just sort of another example of that. So for each of these, we have to classify it as one of three things, either an inference from sample to population, population to sample, or sample to sample. And then explain where the risk is for each of these. Remember, each of these inferences contains some risk. So let me guide you through this. Again, always try these out on your own and then come to the video for further reinforcement. If you just rely on the video guidance for the homeworks and the quizzes, that's not going to help you out, especially when it comes to the midterms. This is the best practice for all of these is always try it out first, get a little confused, and then come to the videos for guidance and clarification as to how the reasoning works. Okay, so for the first one, you got two things. The first one is the initial premise and the conclusion. And the last three times I rolled the dice, I got 7. It's presumed that you're just rolling two die. And then the next one I roll, I won't get 7. So this is sample to sample. Why? Remember, sample and population are relative terms, and you just have to figure out which of the two is not just larger, but what are they talking about as a whole? Well, we're not talking about the whole in terms of, say, all night you're rolling die. Even though this first one is bigger than the second one, you're still talking about small to small. And so this is best classified as sample to sample, right? So you might think in the larger context of things, you're not going to probably just roll 4 times and that's it. Usually, if you're at the craps table, let's say, you're rolling a bunch of times at night. That would be the population, or the population might be all people rolling that night. But the point is, this case, you're talking about what you did the last 3 times and what you're going to do the next time, and that seems to be sample to sample because in the background, there's a larger population of rolls that you're making, right? So sample to sample, where's the risk involved? Well, if the last 3 times you rolled, you got 7, you might think, oh, that can't happen again. The next time I roll, I won't get 7. That's still risky. You might get a 7, right? So the risk is you think you won't get a 7, and because you think it's unlikely given that the last 3 times you got 7, but you might still. So the point is, there's no guarantee there. There's the risk. The next one, 98% of dentists recommend this toothpaste, whatever the heck it is, an advertisement on TV, call it credulous. Usually a lot of these names that they have are sort of play on words. Anyway, my dentist also probably recommends credulous. This is population to sample. Why? Because you're talking about the total population of dentists, 98% of them. And then you're saying from that overall population, your dentist, one particular instance, the sample, also probably recommends this. That might, be a good argument, probabilistically, but it still includes some risk. Where? Well, he might be in the 2% that doesn't actually recommend this toothpaste. Okay, next one. Most of the people polled in Hawaii think that the weather has been acting normally. This is maybe prior to Hurricane Lane and all these other things occurring recently. So most of the nation must think likewise, right? I mean, think in Hawaii, that's the stereotype. Hawaii weather's fine. I mean, it's always sunny. There's some rain, passing showers, but more or less we have like pretty regular weather, unlike elsewhere in the United States and in the world where you get winter, you get summer, fall, and then you get all these storms coming in addition to that. So Hawaii's weather tends to be pretty stable by comparison. So most people in Hawaii cold might think that the weather has been acting normally. That's a sample. Why? Because the conclusion is talking about most of the nation. That's the population they're talking about. Hawaii is just a part of that. So remember, sample population is just basically like part whole. Um, so this is sample to the overall population. Where's the risk? Well, Hawaii is a small instance. It may not reflect what the rest of the nation thinks. Yeah. And then for the last one, this is straight from the lecture. You should look this up. Um, Probabilities are assigned to blank and values are assigned to blank. This is basically a reading comprehension question. Did you do the reading in the lecture carefully? Look at it again. A hint is the last for this answer right here, the last slot, that's utilities. The first one, just carefully read it in the lecture and go and find this. You're going to need to know this definition because it's going to come up later in the course. Okay, that's it for this lecture.